What's going on, ambitious family? This is Aleem with a tutorial on how to integrate AppsFlyer into your FlutterFlow application. AppsFlyer is an MMP, a mobile measurement partner, which allows you to track attribution for your installs. Fancy way of saying it's a platform that you can subscribe to know exactly where your installs are coming from. Having a tool like AppsFlyer is critical if you plan on spending for paid ads, running ads on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, etc., to drive traffic to your mobile app. If you plan on spending to market your app, you need a mobile measurement partner so you know where your ROI is and what your cost per install, cost per conversion event looks like so that you can optimize your ad spending based on where the best traffic is coming from. So AppsFlyer isn't a built-in integration in FlutterFlow, and it's something that every mobile developer will need at some point to track their ROI. And if you're an experienced mobile developer, you're probably already thinking about this. It is definitely possible to integrate AppsFlyer. It just requires you to download the code from FlutterFlow and integrate a few lines of code that you can probably get done in less than an hour. So first step here is to actually download the code from FlutterFlow. I've already downloaded it. Then the next step is to include the AppsFlyer SDK in your PubSpec YAML, where you can declare your Flutter dependencies. So there is a Flutter package available. Go ahead and download or add that to your PubSpec YAML, and then Flutter pub get that so you can install all the dependencies. Once you do that, Flutter should handle porting over those dependencies for AppsFlyer SDK into your iOS and Android project. Then the next step is to actually add the code to initialize AppsFlyer. So I have this function called init_appsflyer.dart. I will post this code so that you guys can just copy it. This is a function of type future that initializes AppsFlyer. You will pass in your dev key and your app ID based on what you pull from your AppsFlyer account. The rest can stay the same because all this function is doing is initializing the AppsFlyer SDK. So I'll provide this file. You'll need to include this file in your project. And then wherever you wish to initialize AppsFlyer, you'll want to make the call to this function. So I initialize AppsFlyer SDK in my home widget. So this is the view that a user first sees when they land on my app. I have to init app tracking transparency because I am using AppsFlyer. And so that pretty much means that I have to tell the user why I am requesting that data, because AppsFlyer does require app tracking transparency because it is tracking data, and it does require the IDFA postback to be integrated. So in my app, I actually integrated app tracking transparency. That's actually in the FlutterFlow dashboard itself. Using the FlutterFlow dashboard, I implemented the package for app tracking transparency, and this was integrated inside of FlutterFlow. This second line right here, line 53, init AppsFlyer, this was not integrated from inside the FlutterFlow dashboard. This is lines of code. This is a line of code that I wrote. I'm pretty much importing my actions folder, which is where my init AppsFlyer function lives, and I'm making a call to init AppsFlyer. Next step from here is to actually log purchase events. I have a function called purchase initiated AppsFlyer event, and what I'm doing here is pretty much instantiating the AppsFlyer SDK and then logging an event here called purchase initiated, and then I'm passing in the user ID, which is pulled from Firebase. So this is used to send a down funnel conversion event to AppsFlyer when my user hits on the purchase initiated button. So give this a shot. If you have any questions, let me know. Jump into the Slack community. We'd be happy to help you. I'll see you in there.